It's 2 p.m. Detroit, and you know what that means. Detroit media icon Ryan Ermanni, University of Michigan great Braylon Edwards, and of course, Maz are about to take over on Woodward Sports. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m., it's the best Detroit sports talk on Detroit's best sports network, Woodward Sports.
Hey, let's go. Tuesday show, May 28th, 2024. Ermanni Edwards with Maz, Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com, fox2detroit.com, and the Fox Local app if you are watching live. If you're watching on YouTube, we say good afternoon to you. Stick in for Braylon today. Good afternoon to you, young man. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing well, and I appreciate the reminder that we're on Fox 2, so I will
dial it down a little bit.
I'm not going to dial it down. I'm just going to use a different vernacular when I'm speaking.
Maybe filter, use a little bit more professional words.
Yeah, back to when I was on the FCC-regulated radio.
Exactly. Remember those days?
Yeah, good times.
Tom Mazaway, good afternoon to you, buddy.
What's up, buddy? Good to see you. Let me put my mic up here.
Pete
nice to see you guys.
Silent Mike, intern Joel here as well. It is great to be with you after a holiday weekend. How did the holiday weekend go for you guys?
Pretty tame, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
What was it? Saturday, I played golf with some of the boys. Did that. Had to set up some tables and
now
chairs.
You got a newborn, right?
I got a 3-month-old, almost 4-month-old now.
And time to play golf?
I do, yeah.
God bless you.
God bless Corey. She made it possible for me.
You've done it the right way.
Yeah, so I played golf Saturday. Sunday, I bought a dunk tank, a 500-gallon dunk tank.
You did?
I did. I'm
you
very
get in
excited about it. No, not yet, because it started raining Sunday and Monday. But, yeah, I do that bounce house rental company, too. So
is that part of it?
People keep asking for a dunk tank, and I have been looking for a good dunk tank for like 2 years now.
Get out of here.
Where'd you get one? Where'd you get it?
Some dude in Livonia was selling one on Facebook Marketplace.
Nice.
So I drove my little butt down to Livonia with my trailer.
Does it have any leaks?
No. But it's 500 gallons. This thing is bigger than my Jeep when I was trailing it to here. So yeah, I'm super pumped about this.
So
dunk
obviously
tank.
you can't fill it up prior to going.
No, you need 500 gallons of water once you get on site. It's a pretty wild thing. I saw it in pictures and I see how big it is in real life, but when I'm renting bounce houses, people keep asking, like, do you have a dunk tank?
Do they know that they have to fill it?
Yeah, they do now. They do now. You got to fill your dunk tank if you rent it from Bloomfield Bounce House. Thank you very much.
I would love to see Tom Mazaway in a dunk tank.
I know. You just like putting me in all these great situations.
Oh, my gosh. I just think it would be fantastic.
I'll bring it here. We'll put it in the middle of Woodward and let people drive by and throw stuff in.
That's great, man. Okay, that's great. That's awesome.
Honk for Maz. Honk for Maz.
John Lord wants to put flannel in the dunk tank.
I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that like to take a shot at each and every person in this place.
Everybody has their own hater.
Hey, I was at the St. Clair Shores Memorial Day Parade.
Now that was on Sunday,
float.
right?
Yes, I was on a float.
Really?
And I brought the Woodward Sports flags.
Oh, you did? You ended up getting them?
Yeah, I put them up, and I'm telling you, I think our float will win best float. I'm pretty sure. Stan Yee Collision, nice job.
So great. Still we were spraying the
people.
votes?
We were spraying people all over it was great.
But you said you're gonna win, so there's still the voting process going on.
I think so.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, this is official. It's a day after
Memorial Day parade or Memorial Weekend parade because it's on Sunday, right?
Correct.
It's not on Monday. I think that's great way to do it is do it on Sunday because you can just go out there, have a good time.
Yep.
Maybe you've got something going on Monday or you don't want to get after it on Monday like you would on Sunday.
Streets were packed.
Yeah.
Everyone was having a great time, and we had those water guns out, and we were just killing people. They were loving it. Loving every minute of it.
You know, Rich Luterman, Fox 2 Weather Authority, was also at the St. Clair Shores Parade. He's there every year. He's on a float. I don't know if he's the Grand Marshal or if he's
probably in one of those convertibles.
Yeah, he is.
I love those small town parades. I remember being playing t-ball and Little League for Commerce and Lakes Athletics, and you're walking with your whole team holding the flag. And then you're just exhausted as a 10-year-old. You're like, this is not as fun as I thought it was going to be. Just walking in the heat. But no, it's always fun. It's America. Yeah. It's Americana, right? The small town Memorial Day parade. Everybody waving their. I know Walled Lake does a big one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mario Lou was the Grand Marshal yesterday at the Walled Lake.
Ah,
there you go.
There you go.
Nobody asked me to be anything.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they do.
There.
I'm sure they ask you, and you're like, I'm a little tired.
Right. Well, I was supposed to be up north, but the weather was not so good up north. The weather was not so great yesterday here either. Pretty cold, but nonetheless.
What do you consider up north?
Charlevoix?
Oh, yeah, that's up north.
Yeah.
That's up north.
Yeah. So we usually go up there, but we're like, we're not going
where I'm
out
getting
there.
married.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
By the way, I tried to click on it won't let me sign in.
Of course.
I'm telling you.
Maz is talking. First of all, Maz is talking about a QR code.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
That was on the wedding invite.
Yes, that
but I
thing.
have to decode this for
Yes,
everybody.
I had to click on that thing there and to RSVP.
A lot of people have RSVP'd, so I know the link works, Maz.
Well, you got my name spelled wrong, and I put it in the way you had it spelled wrong, and it
Okay.
still hasn't got me in.
All right, we'll have to talk about that.
You did
after
an
the show.
AY instead of an EY.
Yeah, I always do that.
Yeah.
Maz away.
It's okay.
W-A-Y.
Makes sense.
I got to check with did my wife RSVP?
I haven't gotten Ermanni's back
Oh,
yet. I don't know.
God. Okay. I better check with the boss. Oh, my God.
Yeah,
That's-
Castle Farms in Charlevoix. Let's go.
Oh, my gosh. Get out of here. That's incredible. Good stuff, man. What's the date on that?
August 3rd.
Look at
So
you.
yeah, we're closing in.
No kidding.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. That's fantastic.
Not cheap. Not cheap.
No,
Brian.
it's
not cheap.
Nothing's cheap.
You got 2 free months yet.
Yeah, you got to put down deposits for the vendors.
No,
and-
I'm talking about free, being a bachelor.
Oh no! See, I don't agree with that. Like,
over. He's got a
I'm-
kid now.
I'm
He's
married,
done. He's
essentially.
done.
I understand. but
We
you're
just
not
need to have a
official
big
yet.
party.
You're not official yet.
Yeah, she posted something on Facebook the other day. It was like, 90 days till our forever. I was like, wait a minute, I thought that already started.
Right.
Like, well, I got 90 days. All right.
Oh my gosh! Now, Maz, what did you do yesterday? Did you have a little cookout? Now, do you do the grill?
You're
You're not.
I'm not a big grill guy.
I feel like I would never see you on the grill.
No, you'll see me on the grill. I'm not a fan of it.
Really?
What?
I'm not a fan of being on the grill. I don't like anything to do with cooking. I do like to eat though.
Oh,
How does your family eat?
I
Does
cook-
Kathy
I-
do it?
No, I barbecue.
Oh, you do.
But
it.
you're asking me if I'm
But you
having
don't
like 80
it.
people over.
You're not. No.
No.
I'm just saying for the family. You don't
Yeah.
even enjoy doing it for the girls.
No, not at all.
Really?
I just don't like it.
Does Kathy do it then?
Kathy does some.
Yeah.
I do some. Most of it.
What's your go-to? What's your specialty, Maz?
What did we have last night? I cooked a couple of London broils and some brats.
That's great.
That's good.
Yeah. Had some
Now, I
baked
love a good
potatoes.
brat, man.
Great.
I love a good brat.
Do you like them hot or do you like them just status quo?
No, hot.
Spicy, right?
Oh, I like the hot and spicy, and I like the status
Okay.
quo. I thought you meant temperature.
No, of course.
Not
Of
spicy.
course you like them hot.
Well, you never know. Some people eat a lot of weird stuff these days.
I will eat them cold, though.
Yeah.
I will eat it
sure,
cold.
No doubt about it.
Once it's cooked, of course.
Absolutely.
Once it's cooked. Maybe Tiger game tonight. Thinking about heading down to Comerica again tonight.
Good for you. It's the only way you could watch the game tonight, maybe.
Well, no, I got it
Oh,
at
yeah,
home.
you
You
got
know
that
that.
stuff.
I got a DirecTV. I'm all covered.
This would have been a good weekend to watch them.
It's a gorgeous day out.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Tigers still playing?
Yeah, I know.
They're only one game under 500.
I know they went 4-5 on the weekend, or 4-1 on the weekend,
Yep.
and I didn't see an inning.
They
I
are-
didn't see a pitch.
They are doing themselves, and I don't know what they do about it. And I hate to come in here and complain each and every day, but as this season goes on, and the Pistons and the Wings are going to be in the same situation come October, they have got to figure this out because not everybody, most people, in fact, are not going to get the Bally Sports app. I think I've already decided that I'm not going to get it, no matter what. I mean, I still pay for cable, and the amount of money that I pay for my cable bill makes me sick every month. And that is just not going away.
So are the Tigers married to Bally in that aspect? Like
I
that's the
think they
only
are.
ones that has, even though they don't have rights to cable companies or just Comcast.
They're
right now.
married.
They're
They
together.
are.
No matter.
Lots
so,
of teams are married to
So like
Bally's.
they can't do what Ishbia did with the
No.
Suns down in Phoenix and just say, you know what, we're going to stream everything on our website.
I don't think you can do that.
I don't
Okay.
believe with MLB regulations that you can do that. And again,
That's the future.
It was the holiday weekend, and I was staying updated on my phone, just looking at the score. I mean, they were up like 8-3, and then it's like 11-8, and then they win 14-11.
Fantastic.
And I'm like,
Matt
what a game
Vueling.
that was. And I was thinking about advertisers too.
Yeah.
You know,
I promised you Bally's
Right.
audience.
Well, the amount of people that don't watch Tigers games anymore has got to be at an all-time high. The number of eyeballs that are on Tigers games, I don't know the numbers, but I would have to assume with most people in our area have Comcast, Xfinity, as opposed to any other cable provider, whether it's DirecTV or WoW or
WoW still has Bally's. DirecTV still has Bally's.
Exactly. But I would say that is still less than half of customers in our area.
So I'm wondering when people think of the advertiser end of this now. Like I'm wondering because when we've been pitched at other marketing companies that I've been at, when companies have come pitched us, it's the station that's pitching you. It's not necessarily the cable network that's pitching you. So it would be Bally's that would have to return all their buyers, not necessarily the people spending with the Tigers.
Right.
So, but if so Bally's has to control, and WoW, I'm sure, just charged what WoW charges. So it's interesting when you said that how it has to work, because if I'm an advertiser and I bought the Tigers and included Bally's and now they fell off, I'm pissed.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think of, I was just out at Wallside Windows last week, right? Doing a story, and I think of the Wallside Windows pitching change. Do you know how many people are not seeing the Wallside Windows pitching change right now? So it's like advertisers, and I hate to single them out, but that's the one that comes to mind now. It's been the Wallside Windows pitching change for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
But any signage on the outside, any signage on the field, Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. The Metro Detroit Chevy dealers, do you know how much money they spend on Tigers games, Tigers
the fountain
advertising, and the fountain itself in every shot of the ballpark? If I'm the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers, if I'm another major sponsor, let's say Wallside Windows in this case, or hell, even Little Caesar.
Right.
Heck yeah. That's a big one.
I mean, it's a huge one. I am not happy right now that you are not getting what you paid for. You're just not, because the number of eyeballs are not on this team.
I'm sure there's an out clause for them.
I don't know.
But that goes back to what they bought, though, right? If you're dealing directly with the Tigers organization and you bought the right field wall or you bought K-Line's corner, it depends on how that contract's written up. Are the Tigers promising you impressions and views, or are they just saying you're a part of our stadium? However it works out from there is up to you. Yes, we're going to be covered by TV. Now, the Wallside Windows pitching change, that's something that's through strictly the broadcast.
Right.
So that's sold differently than in-arena sponsorships.
But even the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers, how many commercials? I mean, you could count.
There's one every break.
10 commercials.
Yeah, there's one every break almost.
Right.
Yeah.
That are strictly bought through the Tigers for the broadcast, or bought through Bally's or something. And another thing, I have the MLB app, and I have not used this on my television yet.
You should.
I use it through my phone, and I'll just cast a game to the TV or something like that.
Right. All you got to do is download the app on your TV.
Yeah, I know. I could do that. But dumb question, most of these games are on Bally's. If I go through the Xfinity app, this is not just a Tigers Xfinity Bally's thing.
No, it's all over.
This is a 13 teams that are broadcast on Bally's. So I guess I never gave that any.
So I wonder if the MLB, if using the MLB app, it'll black you out in this market.
MLB app blacks it. I got the MLB app.
Yep, but it blacks out Tiger games in this market because it was supposed to be viewable to you.
I was in Florida for spring break with the kids, and it was on opening day, and I wanted to watch opening day at Comerica Park, so I got the MLB app, and I watched the Tigers. I'm like, oh, this is great. I can watch this all season long. I come home, I can't watch the Tigers. I was in Florida, so I was able to watch it.
Right, it's blacked out here.
Yeah.
Geofencing, baby.
That's it. How does that work? Because people say use a Canadian
IP.
How does that work?
I mean, it's geofence. So what they'll do is they'll just put
I don't even know what the code is on your RSVP. You're telling me what geofencing is.
Yeah, so let's just say it draws an imaginary line, Maz. Yeah. Like, here, you're a radio guy, right?
Yeah.
You know how radio signal only goes so far?
Correct.
Like, that's exactly how far it can go. You can define that line with where you want your advertising or where you want everything to go in. That's called geofencing. So you can define that line electronically.
I was more asking for the people like us that have the Major League Baseball app. But we can't watch the Tigers on our app.
No, but you can access a VPN from another country and do it. Yes.
Yeah. That's where you lose me.
That's where you lose me too a little bit. I don't know much about that.
There's other things, torrent websites.
Honestly,
we can get into a lot of stuff here, guys.
Honestly,
but I'm not trying to get shut down.
Stick, the problem with that too, though, and I understand what you're saying. And look, if you want to watch the Tigers, I'm sure there are ways to do that. Even this game this weekend, I think one of the games started at 11:30 and was on the Roku channel.
Oh, I love the Roku channel.
If you have a Roku, I think you can get it.
Love the Roku channel.
Even the Tigers, okay, they make this big to do. They've signed Jason Benetti away from the Chicago White Sox, and they have this big time announcer now, and this is the guy that's gonna be the voice of the Tigers on television, leading them through the next generation, through the next decade. Kind of like Mario and Rod did for the 06 to 16 Tigers. And nobody can hear them.
Nope.
Nobody's listening. Nobody's watching. And again, at some point, you get used to not watching the Tigers. At some point, you just go about your life, and it doesn't even resonate with you. And they are 500. They are a game below 500. They are doing well. I don't know. Maybe this is made more people get to the stadium. Maybe it hasn't. I don't know. Kids aren't in school. Kids aren't out of school yet. So I'm not really sure how that affects them. But nonetheless, until the Tigers, maybe in August or September, are truly competing for a playoff berth, and you have a groundswell of people complaining about this, maybe the team does something. Because, again, this isn't just a one-city situation. This is a 13-city, 13-team, 13 fan bases in an uproar. And there is no uproar. You haven't heard anything about this Xfinity Comcast from any Tiger fan. I feel like I'm the only one banging this drum.
I'm not an uproar in it. It's just like, the other day I was scrolling through social media and I saw the Tigers took the lead. And normally I just go turn on the game and have it on the background. Now it's like, oh, I can't do that. And, I think you brought up a great point. We talk about this all the time in media. Is just, you set the appointment because people are creatures of habit.
Right.
The mom who gets her kid up for school every day at 7:30 on the dot. She's watching you on Fox 2 at 7:45 because that's just how her morning is. You've taken this out of the rotation for everybody. And now it's a lot harder to rebuild those habits for people like me who are just have Bally's on the go-to stations.
And what's going to happen when, the NBA playoffs are over and the Stanley Cup playoffs are over? Maybe then you get a little bit of an itch. But I don't know. Maybe it's going to take the Red Wings or a serious pennant run from the Detroit Tigers to create any sort of groundswell to get this.
How long is the Bally's contract? Do you know?
I don't know.
Maybe their company is going bankrupt.
Yeah. Right.
So it could all change. Apple is supposedly waiting in the wings.
Right.
Apple, Prime.
Listen, a company going bankrupt doesn't mean the company's going under. It just means they're trying to restructure their debt.
But Prime
I don't think Bally's is going anywhere.
Well, I've heard rumors before the season started that Prime was ready to pounce and take all these contracts and start putting it on Prime.
Yeah, and that's probably the direction it's going to go.
I don't think Bally's returns.
I don't know if you're Chris Ilitch, and we've talked about this in the past. Just do a network, your own network,
or
like
the Woodward Sports Network, and we could stream it live on our website.
Exactly.
Let's go, Ilitches!
Absolutely, but
come on.
But seriously, I mean, if you're Chris Ilitch, why wouldn't you just create your own network?
That's the way it's going to go, anyways.
Yeah, I mean, like the Yes Network or Sportsnet New York.
Yep.
SNY that does the Mets. I mean, the Dodgers have their own network. I mean, you can do this a number of different ways, and you can have the Pistons buy into your network as well. I mean, you can carry the Wings, the Pistons, the Tigers, and you'll have content all year round, and you collect all of the money.
Yeah.
It seems like a no-brainer, and I believe that's been talked about, obviously, and I think that would be the way this would go, but my goodness, an entire generation of Tigers fans is getting real used to not watching the Tigers.
And it's too bad because they have a pretty nice little team. Yeah, they got some holes, but they're playing 500 baseball, and that's what we all thought they were going to do anyway.
For.
They just happen to be in a division that's playing very, very good baseball with Cleveland, Minnesota, and Kansas City. They're all winning teams. Remember, we all thought, this is a crappy division. it turned out to be one of the best divisions in baseball right now.
Well, yeah, and I watch a lot of baseball now. Cleveland is a very good team. Kansas City is a very good team. Minnesota, outside of the 13-game win streak, I don't know how you say outside of the 13-game win streak, but I'm going to say outside of the 13-game win streak.
They compete every year.
They do, but then they follow that up with like a 7-game losing streak. So, they were one of the most hot and cold teams that you see. All we asked for with the Tigers was to win one, lose one, win one, lose one, win one, lose one, get you to football season.
That's what they're doing.
And that does feel like what they're doing right now, but is anybody seeing it? Is anybody noticing it? Kerry Carpenter is on a really good run. Spencer Torkelson, and not so much. Riley
Green's down the tubes.
Tarek Skubal throws tonight.
Tomorrow. I think he's tomorrow.
Oh, I think he's tonight.
This is the point.
I thought he was going against Paul.
That's the point. You got a 500 ball club in town for the first time in a long time, and none of us can keep track of what the hell's going on. Who's pitching, where they're playing, what time they're playing. It's a mess, Ryan. Let's take a break.
We're gonna see Skeens, huh?
Skeens against Skubal. I thought it was tomorrow.
Hold on. Let me see.
If you guys want to get to the ballpark tomorrow,
I got Skubal versus Jones tonight.
Okay, then Skeens goes tomorrow. Livy Dunn might be in attendance, just to let you guys know.
Whoa. Now you got my attention.
Is that Paul Skeens' girlfriend?
She's the LSU gymnast that's had millions of followers over the years. She is one of the most popular athletes in the country. And she's pretty.
Right. Yeah, you think she's popular because she's a great athlete, Maz? Yeah. Come on.
I just said, and she's pretty.
You lead with the pretty on her.
I don't have to.
All right. Very good.
That's the lead on Livy Dunn.
All right, guys.
I got more baseball.
Oh, please.
We're 21 minutes into the show. We got to take a break.
We usually break at a half hour.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. So you guys just do away with the clock.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Yes.
So why do we even put it together?
It's nice.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. We still get everything.
We've been doing it this way for since February.
All right.
If we got on a good roll, you stay on a good roll.
You want me to break?
Listen, if we're talking about Livy Dunn, we can stay on all day.
We can do a stick break.
We can have Pete.
We can do a stick break.
Pull up some Livy
Stick
pictures.
wants a break. We're gonna break.
You want to break?
When we break, Stick wants a break. We'll break.
Listen, we usually break
take
on
a
the
break.
15s.
No, Stick,
I was just trying to keep us on course.
Stick will run the show. Come on, Stick. We'll take a break. When we break, we break. We'll be right back. We'll talk a little NBA. Maz has some more MLB, too.
Oh, I got a good story for you.
But first, yes, you do. But first, a message from Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC. What happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You expand and offer more products to more people. That's exactly what Les Stanford did by adding Les Stanford Buick GMC. They offer the same great service that customers have come to know and trust. Located on Woodward Avenue, just south of 9 Mile in the great city of Ferndale. And if you're looking for a Chevy or a Cadillac, Les Stanford in Dearborn, where they have been on Michigan Avenue for over 55 years. You can find the brand you want under one umbrella. LesStanford.com, LesStanford.com. Together, let's drive.
Thank you to the Detroit Lions and Sheila Hamp for the best season in Lions history. Now it's time to let Brad Holmes cook. Woodward Sports.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
Hey, Planet Fitness. For only $10 a month, you can get yourself inside a Planet Fitness and get in shape. I mean, you see Braylon lately. That guy looks
freaking
huge, posting videos, him working out, and Planet Fitness is getting him in shape. Your fitness is essential. Plus, you can upgrade to that black card where you get the tanning, you get the massage, and so much more. There's a Planet Fitness near you. Go check them out.
Welcome back, Woodward Sports Network. Ryan Ermanni, stick in for Braylon today. Tom Mazaway is with us as well. Ski Mask Boy in the chat says, please answer this question. So I'm going to answer this question. Has the same city won an NBA and NHL championship in the same year? That is
he's obviously looking at Dallas.
Dallas Mavericks, 1 game away from winning the from being in the NBA Finals, and the Dallas Stars 2 wins away from being in the Stanley Cup Final.
I know NFL and NHL, Tampa Bay.
I'm thinking right now.
Tampa Bay, and I'm sure it's happened. What about?
I don't know. I don't think it's happened in NBA.
Toronto, they haven't won since '67. Hockey. Good call, though.
Maz, what's your baseball story?
Angel Hernandez.
Goodbye.
Who is known as the worst umpire probably in the history of the sport. But he's been around for 30 years.
It's never happened, by the way.
Yeah, I was going to say. I can
really?
think of it.
Yeah, it's never happened.
No NHL, NBA doubleheader there.
Nope.
What about Boston in 2008? No?
No, the Celtics.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no, nothing.
What was his answer?
He already answered and said nothing.
Okay. But they haven't closed it out.
Because Bruins and Celtics did it?
Heat and Panthers made it, but
8 teams have made it, but none have done it. He said. 8 times it's happened.
Yeah, Tampa did it with football though, and hockey. Yeah.
All
right.
Anyway, Angel Hernandez retired, effective immediately back on May 9th, and just announced last night. Angel Hernandez, obviously, Rob Manfred has fired this guy. He's been horrible. He is a joke in Major League Baseball. I hate to say that about a guy. I don't know what the hell game he was always watching, but he was in his own area code, this guy. And he is done. He is effective retiring. He's umpired his last Major League Baseball game, and I think MLB will be better for it. It was embarrassing at times.
The fact that we know an umpire's name means he's an embarrassing umpire. Like, you don't get that type of notoriety as an umpire unless you do horrible things and do them often. Like Jim Joyce. We know Jim Joyce's name. Right, but that was a one-time occasion.
Yeah.
How many other umpires can you name, Maz?
Right.
None. They have to be very bad at their job. Very rarely do we sit up here like, man, the best umpire in the game is...
Right.
Nobody has that name in their back pocket and can pull that out in a conversation. But you could definitely tell your worst, and Angel Hernandez up there.
Burn donated $5 in the Woodward Sports chat. Detroit is the only city to win an NFL championship, Stanley Cup, and World Series in the same year. I believe that was 1934. But again, the Pistons weren't around. Needless to say, the thing with Angel Hernandez, there was a video on X today of some of Angel Hernandez's worst calls, and they were fairly recent.
Everywhere. Yep.
You cannot continue to trot him out there. And not only is Angel Hernandez, was he brutal and affected the outcome of games for being as bad as he was, Angel Hernandez was as combative as they came.
Yeah.
So even when he made a bad call, there was no allowance for any reaction to that. And he had a quick trigger, and he would toss you, and he'd make a big stink out of it, and he'd be a showman about it. And I have no feeling about Angel Hernandez. Like, usually when somebody loses their job, and I do believe baseball ended Angel Hernandez's career, and
he was fired.
Not the other way around. But
you're fired.
He was as combative as any umpire you will see in the game.
Yep.
And I think it's a good day that he's not there. Now, Kevin Donaldson mentions C.B. Buckner. C.B. Buckner is a terrible
He's
umpire.
Up there as well.
I have no idea.
And you know his name.
Exactly. I have no idea what game he's out there watching. And you like
Tim Donaghy for basketball back in the day, you know, the guy that Sheed accosted after a game. It's like, well, yeah, then the guy was found out to be throwing games.
Well, even that aside, I mean, maybe they're just bad. Maybe they're just bad at their job.
I just don't know what they're looking at.
I know. And one of the worst things that ever happened to the umpire was the strike box on television.
Yes.
That is the absolute worst thing that ever happened to an umpire. because you cannot get it right 100% of the time. I understand that.
Well, and that used to be the thing. Umpires used to have different zones, too. Like, this guy had a lower strike zone. Right. This guy called a ball and a half outside. I umpired well into my 20s, and I did some college games and stuff like that. And before the pregame, you would talk to the coaches and let them know, hey, this game, I want your guys up there swinging. I'm going to call half a ball in, half a ball out. So if it's off the plate, let them know they need to be up there. You need to have these conversations. But, yeah, Angel Hernandez was all
What's the strike zone?
Strike zone.
Isn't it shoulders to knees?
I got chest to the top of the knees.
Yeah, it depends on the level.
Letters.
If I'm doing Little League baseball, I'm doing armpits to bottom of the knees.
Okay.
If I'm up into the college, I'm doing top of the knees, lower of the leathers. That's it. In a natural batting
stance.
Box. But that's by the letter of the law. That's what it's supposed to be. Bottom of the letters, top of the knees at the pro level.
Yeah. In your CB Buckner, your Angel Hernandez, and you call an egregious strike that is clearly a ball on the first pitch of an at bat, that changes the complexity of that bat.
Yeah.
Yep. Completely.
Hernandez, he did Torkelson dirty.
Yeah.
One of his last games, he said Torkelson swung at a ball when he went like this.
Yeah, and see with that, you have help. Like you got to peel down to first and get help with that. Hoof Hearted, I thought, had a great comment here. Where'd it go?
Umpires just need to be consistent, not perfect.
That's That's to me. That's exactly what it is, because it's just like anything else. As a player in the NBA, you want to know how aggressive can I be on defense, and are you going to call it?
I think that's a big problem. I was talking to intern Joel about that before the show. I think that's a big problem in these playoffs.
Yep. It's consistency, though.
Right. A foul in the first quarter is not a foul in the fourth quarter, and vice versa.
And as a player, that's all you would want is, hey, I need to know my parameters. I will play within them. Right. Yeah. And I'm okay if it's different if you lay it out to me before the game and let me know, hey, this game, we know this guy doesn't like a lot of hand checking, so I'm not going to be too physical. This guy lets away. Okay, I know I can get away. Like, those are the things you want to learn before you go into a game. And a lot of officials do that, but then there's guys like Angel Hernandez. Right. It's just like, well, doesn't matter. Could be high, could be low, could be inside. He's just going to call whatever the hell he wants today.
Pretty incredible. Yeah, so his career is done, and I think a lot of the players are probably just as well for it.
Absolutely.
I wanted to get to last night, guys. NBA playoffs. The Boston Celtics eliminated the Indiana Pacers. They sweep Indiana. They won Game 4 in Indiana, 105-102. Celtics trailed by 9 points with about 5 minutes to go.
Just like
in
every
the fourth
game,
quarter,
except the one third
exactly.
game.
This is one of the most unique sweeps I can ever remember, because just as easily, Indiana could have swept Boston. Just as easily. Game 1 they gave away.
At least taking 3 games.
Okay, 3 games to 1. Game 2 was a little bit of a laugher. Not even really a laugher, but it got away from them at the end. And Indiana could have won both games at home, and they didn't. It could very easily be 3-1 Indiana.
Yeah, but that's the nature of the beast. If it happens once, it's like, okay, that's a fluke. But if it happens 4 times in a row, this team's just better than the other team. I mean, that's what it shows you, and that's why you play the 7-game series, and it's not just a one and done, right? You show up, you see who's better, game in and game out. And Boston, I don't think they're the strongest team I've ever seen, but they seem to rip through these playoffs like it's nobody's business.
Looks
and
like
I don't
they're
know,
getting stronger.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's a lack of talent going up against them, or if they had an easy schedule on the way there. Because when I see Boston, I don't see a team that's like all world. I don't see a bunch of superstars. And you don't need superstars. We know that with the 2004 Pistons. But when I'm seeing Brown as your best player, it's like, this is not like the championship teams of old.
By the way, I do think Jaylen Brown is their best player.
He is.
And he got the MVP.
I mentioned it on Thursday, and I know Jason Tatum gets all the love league-wide from all the people around league circles, and everybody thinks Jason Tatum is him, as the kids are saying. Jaylen Brown is him.
Did you hear what he said after?
No,
I didn't know. I didn't think I'd win. I don't usually win blank.
Oh,
I never win blank. Is basically what he said. And then they walked off. As he was walking off, a reporter asked him how important this was. Here, there's Jaylen Brown on the way out.
Baby, where's this trophy going? This is a nice trophy chase. Probably at my mom's house or something. But we're going to put it somewhere nice.
What's this one mean?
It means a lot, but we got to get the next one.
What he said.
What did he say though? He's going to his mom's house?
Yeah. That's going to his mom's house.
I love how the NBA superstars of today don't give a damn about basketball.
Right.
Like Jokic last year, hey, you can stick around. When's the parade? I got goats to get to. Like, I don't even want to be here. This guy, MVP of the Eastern Conference Final. Yeah, I'm just going to give it to my mom.
I don't know. I take that a little bit differently. I take that as, hey, man, his mom means so much to him, and maybe this award is part hers. For all the time she, he didn't
say that though. He was just like,
that's kind of how I took it. It's going to my mom.
He's just being shy about it.
Yeah.
Like he said, I don't win blank. I never win anything.
Right.
I thought it was very funny what he said. But the Celtics, hats off to them, man. They've won 12 games, lost 2. 1 in each other series, and of course the sweep here against Indiana. They're playing very good basketball. Guess what? It doesn't mean a thing, because they now have 9 days off. Yeah. 9 freaking days off.
I do think you should be able to change the schedule. Now, if Dallas wins tonight,
we're waiting to the June 6th.
June 6th, you have to wait. June 6th if they win tonight. I do think that's too long.
It's too long
to wait.
I already forgot about it.
Now, if Boston,
you can't. You don't know they're going to get swept.
It don't matter. You should have a loose start to your NBA Finals.
You can't do that, man. You know that.
Why not?
Of course you can.
TV scheduling, sponsorships. We talked about it a lot in the first segment about what these people are selling. How you can't do that. Like the finals are June 6th. They want to promote it. They want to set the appointment, like we talked about earlier. Getting people in their head,
but it sucks.
I'm with you. I don't want to wait 9 days for basketball. I hate college football because I take a month off between.
Once Minnesota loses tonight, and they will get swept, I'm going to forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Boston. Before we get to that series, Boston is one of the intriguing teams to me because I think, and we're going to hear something that happened on Get Up this morning, where Greeny got a text from Isaiah Thomas, and rightfully so. The Boston Celtics 2024 team, this is not one of the great teams in NBA history, I don't think. And they might not. And I don't know. Are they even going to be the favorite? Just because they're Boston, they'll be the favorite against Dallas?
Oh, they will be. I mean, Dallas was the 5th seed going into this tournament. So they have to be the favorite.
I guess they'll be the favorite. But nonetheless, I think Dallas beats them in a 7-game series. The Boston team that I'm currently watching, now they could be completely a different team with Kristaps Porzingis, who is going to go up against his former team in Dallas as well.
You don't need him.
Well, what about Kyrie? The Kyrie factor. Yeah. Don't forget Kyrie going up against Boston.
A lot of hate.
And listen, I've slowly become a Kyrie fan over this course of the playoffs. I was a fringe either way. Good. Like I always thought he was a hell of a ball player. Thought he was kind of crazy about the flat earth stuff and some of the stuff that he spouts off about. But this series, to me, has shown that Kyrie, he's fun to watch. I really like watching him and Luka together. But that revenge tour going back to Boston, that's something that intrigues the heck out of me.
No doubt. And Matt, as you said, you think it's over tonight? I have not been able to put my finger on this series at all. They just look
defeated.
Yeah.
They look defeated.
They lost game 1 when Anthony Edwards decided to walk up and down the court for an entire quarter. Like, to me, that was probably the most embarrassing moment for any NBA superstar in the past decade in the playoffs. Have you ever seen anything like that, Maz?
I got to be honest with you. I don't remember seeing him do that.
Oh, go back and watch Game 1, Western Conference Finals. I went off about it a little bit with Kool-Aid this morning on the morning show. I mean, it was a close game.
Dallas came back at the end to win that game.
And they would have won had their superstar had
I don't remember that either.
Go back and watch.
He only got 19 that day.
You will see him
that.
just walking up and down the court, not even making it back on the defensive end. Walking.
Wow.
Multiple possessions, just walking. Yeah. I have never... and this is what makes me so mad is he made me wrong. That's what I told her. Like, I was an Anthony Edwards guy. I was like, I love his tenacity. I love the way he plays the game above the rim. I love the way he took it to Phoenix, and then they took it to the defending champions. But then you get game 1, and you're telling me your legs are tired because you went to game 7. Oh, I got to defend Kyrie and Luka, so I'm too tired. I don't care. Check yourself out of the game if you're that tired. Because back to my point from earlier with the morning show, Isaiah Thomas played with one leg. One leg. And you're telling me game one, you're tired? You're tired. You weren't injured. There was nothing wrong. You weren't sick. You were tired. I've never seen that out of a superstar. I've seen LeBron quit on his team to prove a point, but this guy quit on his team because he just didn't have the gas in the tank.
Yeah, I don't remember that. I'll go back and check that out.
Absolutely.
And even if that was the case, I would stick up for him a little bit in that he's a 22-year-old player trying to figure it out. And I know it's probably a bad look if he was doing that, if he was tired, like specifically if you're 22, how are you tired?
And even if you are, like, quit being a detriment to your team. Tap out for 2 minutes and come back and play the last 5 minutes going nuts again, right? But that display to me, it really broke my heart. It really did. Because I said I was an Anthony Edwards fan until game one of the Western Conference Final.
I believe that Kyrie Irving, though, on the other end of the spectrum, 14-0 in closeout games.
Wow.
Yeah. Kyrie.
Dallas is a 1.5 favorite tonight.
Pick'em game, essentially. A game in Dallas.
Look, I'd like to see Minnesota win just so I could see another game or so.
Right.
Because I hate 4-game sweeps, man.
Yeah.
4-game sweeps are the worst,
especially in the final.
Yeah.
Right?
4-game sweeps.
The conference final.
Terrible.
See, I hate the 3-0.
That means the wrong team was in there.
I hate the 3-0 lead.
Yeah.
Terrible. Like, I hate the 3-0 lead because the series is over. Like, it's just a matter of when, I think. So, yeah, whether they sweep tonight or win next game, like, I just don't see Minnesota winning 4 straight games.
It would have been fun if the Knicks had gotten hit against the Celtics.
It would have been, and I don't know. They might have given them a run, too.
They might have.
Given them a run.
Had they gotten their legs
I
back,
just don't think they're that good.
Just ran out of players and ran out of time.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, you're going to hear from Greeny, what Isaiah Thomas had to say to Greeny, coming up next.
This is damn good.
But first, a message from Premier Pet Supply.
All right, guys, you know it. They are the best pet store in Michigan, hands down. Family-owned and operated for over 30 years, 13 Metro Detroit locations, over 60 brands of food at the lowest prices available, curbside delivery if you need it, and of course, they've got nutritionists on call anytime you have a question about your pet. Give your pet the best. Do not settle for less. It's PremierPetSupply.com.
Congratulations to the real coach of the year, Motor City Dan Campbell.
Just put your head down and go to work. It's about to be fun, man. It's about to be fun.
Woodward Sports.
To any Lady Jane's haircuts for men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's haircuts for men, it's wicked awesome.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
What's up, everybody? Neil Rule, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, home of the Planet Fitness Studios. Let me tell you a little personal story about myself with Planet Fitness. Planet Fitness helped me change my life, and it can do the same for you. The best gym in the gym game. The clean facilities, tons of cardio equipment, tons of weights as well. And look, through all the price increases, inflation, all that hasn't happened at Planet Fitness. Still $1 down, $10 per month, $24.99 a month for the Black Card as well. It's Planet Fitness, everybody, where your fitness is essential.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
Hey, gang, want to tell you about Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Awesome is when a guy can be a guy and get an amazing haircut. That's Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Stop in, sit back, relax. Let one of Lady Jane's talented stylists make you look and feel great. You could walk in anytime, 7 days a week. Lady Jane's. It's wicked awesome.
Wicked.
All right, set this up for us.
I will.
Tom Mazaway.
All right, today on ESPN's Get Up with Mike Greenberg and the gang. Jay Will is on that show. A couple other guys as well. They were talking about the best teams that have had the best playoff runs. And they mentioned this Boston Celtics team that is right now at 12-2. What they did not mention was any of the Piston teams, the Bad Boys, the 04 team. That's where I'm going to set you up. This is it. Get Up This Morning with Mike Greenberg.
By double digits. So let me take you through what happened. We did that list. We kicked it around for a little while. We talked about it. And then 4 minutes later, I got a text from Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas said, 1988 Pistons, 63-19 during the regular season, but more impressively, 15-2 during the playoffs. The members of the 88-89 Pistons did not care about themselves, but rather every single one of their teammates. Arguably the best defensive team in history. By the way, good morning.
By the way, good morning.
By the way, good morning. And then Jay Will gets in on the texting, and so Zeke then sends us this graphic. Jay Will, he sends us this graphic. Zeke sent that to us. In the 88 playoffs, he had 66 steals in 23 games, the record for most steals in a single playoff run. So Zeke, one of the all-time greats, and I've said it a million times, one of the most underappreciated all-time greats in the history of the sport.
And granted, they won it that year, right?
They won
Yes,
it.
first title.
In 89, they won it, yes.
Right.
They wound
They
up
met the
sweeping
criteria.
the Lakers in the finals.
So you got to put them on. They have to be on right now instead of
won it.
Boston.
Do they won
Boston
it?
hasn't won it yet.
So you got to take
Can't be
Boston off.
down there. You got to take Boston off.
Boston off.
I take Boston off.
There you go.
Listen,
That's all it takes. Is
I'm
a
all right
text from
with that.
Zeke, and you're taking Boston off.
But this is how easy I am. If I were to then get a text from Jason Tatum, I'd put them back on. If an immortal is going to text you making the case for their team, you know what? No, but he's absolutely right. It is 100% fair. That team, the Pistons teams, to some degree, get overlooked historically because they were sandwiched between the Magic and Larry rivalry of the 80s and Michael's teams winning 6 championships in the 90s. But sandwiched in between there were the back-to-back bad boys.
You know what? God bless Isaiah Thomas, one of my favorite Detroit athletes of all time.
I love his tweets. I love him.
He continues to fight for the Pistons. He continues to fight for the bad boys. He fights for the organization. He fights for the recognition. I love Isaiah Thomas. Somebody's got to do it. And it's him. Isaiah, the bad boys, hell, even the going to work Pistons, one of the greatest teams. And don't understand what I'm saying when I say teams.
Mm-hmm.
I know they weren't one of the most talented team, but just pure team. 5 players working together at one time to win a championship. They just don't get any respect at all. Never in any of the championship promos. Never once. I think last week I might have said this, but I was watching an old NBA on NBC promo, and then in the mid 90s, they were showing all the great champions of the 70s and 80s and into the 90s with the Jordan Bulls. They didn't have any bad boys representation in the mid 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Right after they won 2 championships, went to the NBA Finals 3 times in a row, went to the Eastern Conference Finals 4 times in a row. No representation, like they didn't exist.
Well, there's a phrase around here that's been pretty popular. It's called Detroit versus everybody. And it's been going back for long before Tommy Walker put it on a sweatshirt. And that's exactly where it stems from, just the amount of respect it takes for any Detroiter to get in any field, whether it be basketball, baseball, auto industry, media, as we know. It feels like you're pulling teeth. And they didn't want the Pistons to win in 89 and 90. They did not want that. David Stern, if you went into David Stern's office in the 90s, do you know what picture he had behind him on his desk? If you look back and see pictures of his office, the phantom foul call on Bill Laimbeer was pictured and put in David Stern's office because they did not want that team to win. That team should have been 3-peat champions.
Yeah.
They won the year before against LA. It was just a BS call, but we don't complain about that. What do we do as Detroiters? No, you pick yourself off the mat, you go win the title the next year. And then you win the title the year after that. And then when they want to hand it over to Jordan and finally let you know it's over because you got to trade away Rick Mahorn. We're going to peel away pieces of your championship team because we have expansion teams and you're no longer allowed to keep the players that you have in place. And that it's just part of what the NBA has done to the Pistons. Look at the draft lottery over the past 5 to 6 years with the Detroit Pistons. And then you go look at the 04 Pistons. What do? They go out, they hold 7 teams under 70 points during the regular season. They take out the beloved Shaq. They take out, rest in peace, Kobe, who was everything to the NBA at that time. What does the NBA do that offseason? We're changing the defensive rules. No more hand checking. No more. We don't want those Detroit guys to win anymore. So this has been going on for a long time.
Preach, brother.
And I'm with you.
Preach.
I love that Isaiah Thomas stands on business, whether it's on social media, whether it's in person, whether he's calling somebody out while he's watching the show. And if you watch the Bad Boys 30 for 30, there was a line in there that still sticks with me. Bill Lambier. Somebody had to wear the black hat, and it's us.
Yeah.
And there's still those guys to this day. They got to wear the black hat and be the guy that took out Jordan, be the guy that got rid of Bird, be the guy that got rid of Magic, and also try to be looked at as good guys. You can't do those things and be a good guy in the NBA's eyes.
Yeah, I mean, Isaiah Thomas and the Pistons are the only team to beat Larry, Magic, and Michael. Put them out of the playoffs. He did that, and they did that, and there should be some recognition for that.
I believe Isaiah is one of the only players in the entire NBA to have a winning record against all three of those.
Yes,
Yep.
he is. Just more NBA talk. Charles Barkley, too, is not happy that the NBA is not going to be broadcast on TNT any longer. He went on the Dan Patrick Show.
I love Dan Patrick.
And, this was reminiscent of Stone Cold Steve Austin dropping a haymaker on Vince McMahon. One of the great parts about wrestling, if you're a wrestling fan, the Attitude Era, I think it was when it became acceptable to kind of go back at your boss. Like, right? I mean, it was a time in the early 2000s, mid to late 90s, early 2000s, that Stone Cold Steve Austin had a rivalry with his boss, Vince McMahon. And that catapulted the WWE universe into a new stratosphere. I feel like this is the greatest employee versus employer battle that we have seen since Stone Cold Vince McMahon. We now have Charles Barkley versus the TNT bosses. Here's what Barkley had to say about them.
How's morale, Charles?
Well, 2 things, Dan. Number one, Mercedes is a great car, okay? But don't buy it if you can't afford it. Let's get that out the way, all right? Only get a Mercedes. Mercedes is an amazing car. I've had a few in my life, but don't buy it unless you can afford it. Stop trying to impress other people. Morale sucks, plain and simple. I just feel so bad for the people I work with, Dan. These people have families, and I just really feel bad for them right now. These people I work with, they've screwed this thing up clearly, and we don't have zero idea what's going to happen. I don't feel good, I'm not going to lie, especially when they came out yesterday and said we bought college football. I was like, well, damn, they could have used that money to buy the NBA.
Yeah, it says TNT Sports added college football playoff games in a 5-year deal, their licensing deal with ESPN. Maybe that's why they're buying this, because they don't, the money they were going to use on the NBA, they got to do something with.
Yeah, that's the first thing came to my mind. We've never had college football, never been involved with college football. And I'm like, wait a minute, shouldn't we be spending every dime we got to keep the NBA? So morale sucks, to be honest with you, Dan.
I was wondering about this. I don't know if you guys have talked about this, but you and Shaq and Kenny and Ernie, how about just form a production company and continue to do the Inside the NBA, hire the personnel, keep the personnel there, continue to do it in Atlanta, and then you're able to sell that to NBC or Amazon and say, here, you already got the best studio show ready to go. Keep everybody in place, but you guys own your own production company.
Well, I've talked to the guys about everybody signing with my production company because I have my own production company, and I would love to do that if we lose it. But I have definitely somebody suggested that to me, to be honest with you, on the internet. So why don't Charles Barkley sign these 4 guys total, his production company and sell it? I'm like, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
But like I say, we're just sitting back waiting on these people to figure out what they're gonna do. My 2 favorite wines are Inglenook and Opus.
Yes, and he continues to go on about that.
He slams TNT. He says they botched this.
And honestly, I think it was over $200 million. And while that sounds like a lot of money, that is like peanuts.
Nothing.
When it comes to a negotiation for a rights deal between a league and a television network. That is like peanuts. I am shocked that TNT didn't keep the NBA for $200 million when you're talking about a multi-billion-dollar deal.
What does that tell you, though? It tells you that NBA may not be as lucrative as we all think it is. It tells
I don't know, man.
Listen, they're making the transition to college football, right? They're putting their eggs in the college football basket.
Yeah. They've never done that before.
That's a lot bigger basket with a lot bigger payday. And the famous saying, follow the money and you'll get your answer. Why did TNT let the NBA go? Because they ain't making what they're going to make spending that $200 million going to college football.
You know what? You're probably right about that, Stick. The NBA.
Another good call by Stick.
Yeah, no, that is a good call. Look,
you're full of it, all right.
The NBA. If you look at the NBA revenue, and since LeBron James has come into the league, what has happened to the revenue? It has skyrocketed.
Yeah.
These TV deals are insane. But if you look at the ratings,
exactly,
nobody's watching. There were more people that watched Caitlin Clark's national championship game than any game of the NBA Finals last year.
It's oversaturated at this point. Me and you were talking before the show just how much of a great job the NFL does by never being irrelevant. But they also have the shortest season. And they're able to do that because it's not constantly 82 games. And eventually, it's a watered-down product. And right now, with the NBA, you're in this transition period. You're going from the LeBron James, Steph Curry era into the
Victor Wembanyama.
Well, Anthony Edwards era. You hope it's the Anthony Edwards era.
You hope
it's the Anthony Edwards era.
Who's the LeBron James that all right, I'm handing the baton to?
Victor.
There is no guy they're handing the baton to right now. Is it Jason Tatum?
I think it's a mashup of players like Luka, who's 25, like Victor Wembanyama, like Anthony Edwards, like Nikolai Jokic.
So 3 or 4 of those guys are European. They're foreigners.
I completely
That's
understand
tough to
what you're
sell
saying.
right here in America.
I do. And as Alan W. says in the super chat, we might lose the GOAT announcer Kevin Harlan too. You're probably going to lose some significant voices. I wanted to get to this one because the NBA is absolutely a global sport. We know that now. That is where a lot of the revenue is coming from. China and overseas and everywhere. China loves the NBA. Ken Brown, our good friend from WJR, says, when are people going to admit NBA basketball is hard to watch and bad basketball? Barkley is funny in spurts. I agree with everything that KB just said.
Yeah, the flopping, the constant fouls.
The NBA is, and I've watched these playoffs. I think these playoffs have been as good as I have seen in a long time.
Really?
But a lot of that because of the Knicks.
Okay.
A lot of that was because of the entertainment value that you got from watching, 15 games that the Knicks played?
But even the Knicks, like who's their star?
It didn't matter. It was the Garden.
Yeah, it was the Garden. The Garden was the
Garden
star.
was the
We
star.
can wax poetic about the Garden, but it's a players' game. Players, Celtics,
Jalen Brunson scored 40-plus points in like
Brunson
8
is
games.
not a sellable, huge guy. He's not even John Starks back if we're talking about Knicks.
He is.
He's not Patrick Ewing. No, he's not even close to that.
Well, I think he is.
And I love you guys, and I love your old school. It's the Garden, but nobody's tuning in to see the Garden.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they are.
No.
I mean, I'll speak for myself. I tuned in specifically to see the Garden. I think
to see a basketball court.
Yeah, to
hear it, to see it, to feel it.
There was no building.
Yeah,
there's no building in sports that's as electric when it's alive.
See, and I think that's a generational thing because the Garden doesn't mean anything to these young kids.
I disagree with that.
What has been won in the Garden in the last 15 years?
Nothing.
Exactly.
Last 15 years. They haven't won in 60.
So where's the majesty? Where's the magic? Where's the it's just like the parquet court in Boston. Nobody cares.
Halliburton about the Garden, what it meant to him playing there.
That's because he's a pacer and they have that background.
Well,
but outside of that, if he was in Sacramento, I mean, I get it.
That's a great place to watch a game.
Yeah.
I don't hold New York in a high esteem. I don't hold their sports in high esteem. When I hear the Garden, it's like, okay, it's just like Fenway. Fenway's nice, but I go there and it's a dump.
I'm only speaking for myself. I mean, it got me, the Knicks run got me to watch these NBA playoffs. And they got me in, and I stuck with it. It's almost like, I think, what you hope for the Caitlin Clark era in the NBA. Caitlin Clark can be the draw to get you in. Now everybody else has to be the draw to keep you in.
Right.
And that's kind of how I feel. The Garden and the Knicks were my team that I wanted to see succeed going into the playoffs, so that's why I watched. And now everybody else and all the fantastic players, the Anthony Edwards, Kyrie Irving, all the different games and all of the great play that we've seen these players. But, yeah, I mean, fundamentally, the NBA is crap right now. And that's why you have all of these and I think Colin talks about this a lot too. Colin Cowherd, what AAU has done to the game of basketball. It is literally just a one-on-one. It is a one-on-one shooting sport now. And that's why there is so much success and so much intrigue with players from overseas, be it Luka, be it Giannis, be it Jokic, be it Wembanyama. They are playing professional basketball at 16, and their system coming up is much better. It's much more professional than the system we have, because it's just, you get yours and you take your shots and you jack your shots, and that's it.
Well, and in Europe, there's a growth pattern too. You stick with the team, and you start when you're 14, and then you end up getting your minutes eventually down the road. Here in AAU, I mean, we're seeing it too with the transfer portal. There's no getting better because you lost your spot. Right. There's no fighting for a position anymore. It's, I'm getting benched. Okay, this AAU team wants to start me. Now I'm over here until they realize I'm not that dude either, and then I'm going to jump over here. So there's very few guys that are loyal to their brand anymore. And even even at the high school level here, there's a kid named Darius Acuff who played for Cass Tech, led them to their first basketball state title as a freshman. He did that, and then he leaves Cass Tech and goes to IMG. Right. So it's like there's no
it's a poor system.
There's no loyalty to Cass Tech, and Corey Sadler, thank goodness he's still there, one of the preeminent athletes in America. But even at the high school level now, there is no loyalty, and I can't hold the kids accountable for that because the coaches have no loyalty either. They recruit a kid, sit in their parents' living room, say, hey, come here. I'm going to coach your son for 4 years. He's going to be like my son. We're going to get through his college career. Now it's just like, no. Come, you're your son for 4 years. All right, well, 6 months in, I'm getting a better job at UCLA. I'm out of here. Right. And so it just that whole culture of being loyal to anything is gone.
Yeah.
Period.
There's no doubt. And that'll be the last word on this. Guys, 100 days from today.
Oh, hold on, pal. I didn't even mention Bill Walton.
Oh, please.
I'm very sad. More sad than I've been for an athlete passing away in a long, long, long time. I never knew he was sick. He was so damn good. And I followed him as a kid. I mean, I had his poster up, UCLA, Big Red. Him and John Wooden, great stories, the best stories ever between him and John Wooden. John Wooden would not let him be on the court until he got a haircut and shaved his beard. And he challenged him. Bill Walton showed up with his floppy hair and his beard, and John's like, well, you got 15 minutes to get all that cut off, and we have practice here. And, well, you got 14 minutes now. Bill ran the hell out of there, ran down to wherever the hell he got his barbershop, got his hair cut off, went back. The rest is history. The greatest college basketball player by far, hands down, goes to Portland. What a perfect situation for him. The outdoorsman out in Portland, Oregon, wins it with the Blazers in 78 against Philly. What a great series that was. Jack Ramsey is the coach. Loved that place. I'll never forget that series. I just fell in love with the Blazers that year because of him and Maurice Lucas. And then he becomes a Boston Celtic, which I hated because I hated the Celtics. And he wins a championship there. And then he becomes an announcer. And tell me he has not made you smile or laugh every single time that he was on a broadcast. When he was on a broadcast with Dave Pasch especially, I would make sure I recorded that thing, and I'd make sure I'd watched it. Because he wasn't even about the game. It was just, he was a Grateful Dead guy. Rick Carlisle went into, because of Rick Carlisle, him and his wife were together. Because of Bill Walton put those two together. It was a great story. If you hear Rick Carlisle yesterday, right before his game, he went into a big story. They played with the Boston Celtics in '86. He's just a terrific guy. And if you could live like a day like Bill Walton lived, you've lived a full life, because that guy had the fullest life that you could have for 71 years. That's all he lived.
One of the greatest broadcasters, too. I mean, obviously, as you're mentioning, he used to cover the high-profile NBA on NBC games. He did a lot of those. He worked at the end of his career, of course, with Dave Pasch, but also our guy, Jason Benetti.
Yep.
He did a lot of games with Jason. So, yeah, I heard that. I did not realize he was sick. I did not realize he was 71. That's a young man.
Very young.
I thought he was much older than that. But, yeah, so Bill Walton, gone at the age of 71 years old. We're going to take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk a little NFL next. But first, a message from WSN and our merchandise.
That's right. Right now, everybody head to shop.woodwardsports.com and load up on some of the greatest Detroit sports wearables, including the 775,000 NFL Detroit Draft Day t-shirt and the quarter golf pullover as well. Go right now to shop.woodwardsports.com and load on up, and we'll be right back.
Thank you to the Detroit Lions and Sheila Hamp for the best season in Lions history. Now it's time to let Brad Holmes cook. Woodward Sports.
What's up, everybody? Neil Rule, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, home of the Planet Fitness Studios. Let me tell you a little personal story about myself with Planet Fitness. Planet Fitness helped me change my life, and it can do the same for you. The best gym in the gym game. The clean facilities, tons of cardio equipment, tons of weights as well. And look, through all the price increases, inflation, all that hasn't happened at Planet Fitness. Still $1 down, $10 per month, $24.99 a month for the Black Card as well. It's Planet Fitness, everybody, where your fitness is essential.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
Braylon Edwards here, Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around, who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda? A chef for Lola? Really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supply has everything that your pet can dream of, and guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out premierpetsupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody!
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking, and the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
I was driving home the other day, and I was hungry. I wanted something delicious. And you know what? Soroki's just happened to be at a gas station I was driving by, and they're all over Metro Detroit. And I was like, I want to try that Nashville hot pizza that Braylon's been telling me all about. And that's exactly what I got. And man, is it good. So if you want to try that today, make yourself easy tonight for dinner. Just stop by any Soroki's, pick up some of their crispy chicken or that delicious Nashville hot pizza.
Hey, gang, welcome back. Woodward Sports Network, hour number 2 of the program. Ryan Ermanni sticking for Braylon today. Tom Mazaway is with us. Pete Spivak, intern Joel, Silent Mike, all here. Having a great day, having a fun day on a Tuesday of holiday weekend. Hopefully you guys had a great holiday and truly took a moment yesterday to appreciate the service members who made the ultimate sacrifice so that we can do what we do here in this country every day, all day.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
This is kind of like not really much grinds my gears too often. And it's not like this really like gets under my skin, but the difference between Memorial Day and Veterans Day, there's a huge difference.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be preachy, but Memorial is for the people who have passed away while serving this country. Veterans is for everybody who's ever served the country.
Right.
So I saw a lot of posts yesterday, like, thank you to all who have served. No, Memorial Day is reserved for those who gave the ultimate sacrifice.
Right.
And
even a couple of lawmakers actually said thank you to our service members.
Yeah, and you can tell
them,
that's when you know it's
Right.
just they're doing it out of, I feel like I have to do this.
Yeah.
They're not doing it out of understanding what it's really about.
They simply don't realize
Right.
or understand what each holiday is.
Right.
You know?
Either way, veterans, salute you. Thank you for everything you did for this country and everybody who gave their lives in the ultimate sacrifice. I have more respect for you than you could ever know, and your families and everybody who's been a part of that. So, yeah, just wanted to get that out there.
Amen to that. Hey, let's talk some football, okay?
Hey!
100 days away from the opening to the 2024 NFL season. The Baltimore
feels so good.
The Baltimore Ravens
so good.
and the Kansas City Chiefs, 100 days away. You won't see that fancy graphic that we have, but trust me.
Yeah, you will. It's got to be coming up here pretty soon. That graphic that is in there at 3 o'clock.
Oh, look at that graphic.
Oh, wow.
Gorgeous it is. And how about this?
Oh, that's great.
A Detroit Lion made the graphic.
How about that?
It is Aiden Hutchinson. This is tweeted out from the NFL Post. 100 days away. You've got C.J. Stroud, Caleb Williams made the graphic.
How?
Lamar Jackson, Aiden Hutchinson, Micah Parsons, is that Puka Nacua?
It is Puka.
Christian McCaffrey, and of course Patrick Mahomes. But it's great to see the Detroit Lions on the graphic for the NFL.
And they'll be there from now on because they are now one of the premier NFL teams going forward.
It would have been nice if they put Dan Campbell on that graphic. The only coach, Dan Campbell up there biting a kneecap. How does Caleb Williams get on that?
Well,
it's a story. He's the number one pick.
It's going to be
It's been a great story watching him struggle in training camp.
Yeah, it's going to be a story.
Bears.
Oh man, I do think he is going to not be great.
I'm with you.
I've said that all along. I said that last year and into this year. I mean, if you just look at what he did, I think he fumbled nearly every game he played in.
Listen,
and no, this is important because even though you don't lose the fumble, this is the NFL.
It only gets harder.
You're going to lose a lot of those fumbles, and you cannot be a turnover machine when you get to this league. So we'll see how he does. I'm not rooting against anybody, but I'm kind of rooting against him because it's in the Lions division.
Yeah,
and yeah, there you go.
I'm always rooting for myself to be right. And in 7-on-7 drills, I guess he completed only 3 passes and almost threw 7 consecutive interceptions.
That's incredible.
It is incredible. That's tough to do.
Hey, I got a sidebar for you on the Bears.
Okay.
My daughter Lily puts out lots of. She wants to get in. She gets internships. She's going to be a senior at MSU. Wants to get into sports entertainment business. Last year, she interned for the Lions. Guess who she's interning for starting in July?
Who?
The Bears.
Chicago Bears.
Oh man, that's great. Great
Lily,
facility over there in Lake Forest.
Lily's heading over to Chicago second week of July. She'll do training camp with the Bears and then come home and she'll have the season with the Lions, which is nice.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Wait, she's going to work for them, then come work for the Lions?
Yeah, because the Lions didn't give her this.
She's definitely a Mazaway.
What can I tell you?
Hey man,
you
top
go teams.
You go
top teams, baby.
Hey,
you go who you want.
Hey,
who
listen,
wants you?
When you get older, your fandom wanes a little bit, and then you go to who pays you.
Correct.
Right? I mean, that's just how it works out. If you are in the business, it's just like you grow up your whole life, you're a Lions fan. Well, I'm being paid now by the Atlanta Falcons.
Yes.
And you're a Falcons fan. I'm
a Giant Jet diehard, but I'm here 30 years.
Right.
And the Lions were always my number 3. They are my number 1 now. That's the only – all my Detroit teams are my number 1.
It's just how it works out.
That's where I'm at, man.
There's no doubt.
It changes. Life changed for me.
So I was thinking about this today with the NFL season being 100 days out, and obviously so much excitement for the Chiefs and the Ravens, the rematch between Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes, a rematch of the AFC Championship game a year ago, a game in which the Kansas City Chiefs stunned, and I do believe stunned Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore last year. Baltimore, for whatever reason, went away from everything they did to have success in the regular season and kind of clammed up against Kansas City. So I'm looking forward to that. But when it comes to the Detroit Lions, if you look at their schedule, and I don't know if we could pull one up quick or not. I don't know, Pete. I don't mean to call you out there on that. I did not plan this. So I apologize. Don't worry if you don't have one. But I just wanted to, if you had time, if you can get one up. Last year, I think if you looked at the Lions' schedule, the most exciting game on it was the first one, Lions at Chiefs. I think that was the measuring stick. And this year, the game I'm most excited for on their schedule, week 1 at home against the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
I know one game does not make a season, but I think we're going to learn a lot about who the Detroit Lions are going to be, much like we did in 2023. I think we're going to learn a lot about who the Detroit Lions are in 2024, week 1 at home, Sunday Night Football against Matthew Stafford and the LA Rams.
It's instant pressure. That's what it is. And that's exactly how they started the season last year. Instant pressure. Either you're getting it done against the Super Bowl champs or you're not. Either you're getting it done against your ex-girlfriend week 1 or you're not. And that's exactly what Matthew Stafford is. Because if you won the playoff game last year, which we did, but you come back and lose week 1, it kind of takes a little bit of the happiness away from beating him in the playoffs. Now, obviously, playoffs are a lot more important than regular season games. But this, to your point, is a statement game week 1.
Right off the bat.
And you know who I love that has this opportunity? Dan Campbell. Because he's the type of coach that is going to get his team ready for week 1. It's going to let them know the importance of this game over every other game and what it means to the city significantly. And Jared Goff, say what you want. Last year kind of created a little rivalry between Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford. And Stafford didn't love walking into the stadium and hearing everybody chanting Jared Goff, a guy who got us to 2 playoff wins in 3 years of being here when Stafford couldn't get it done his whole career here.
And I do think Stick and Maz, they have a really nice schedule. I think you can make a case for a big game at the Dallas Cowboys, a place they never win.
That was the game I was going to pick up.
You can make an argument for either Packers game. The first one at Green Bay, a 4:25 Fox game with Tom Brady behind the mic. That is a good one. What about at the Houston Texans? Many people predict the Houston Texans being the favorites in the AFC.
That could be a Super Bowl preview.
Absolutely could. What about Chicago on Thanksgiving Day against the number 1 overall pick, Caleb Williams and the Bears?
7 straight.
What about the Buffalo Bills? A big game every year. And that was, if you looked at the schedule a couple of years ago when they played the Bills on Thanksgiving Day, I think you looked at the schedule and said, okay, that is going to be the biggest game on the Lions schedule this year, the Bills. How about a rematch at San Francisco, a place where they lost the NFC Championship game last year, where they snatched defeat from the jaws of victory? They did that last year. You can make a case for so many different games throughout the Lions schedule, but I still think the clear number 1 game that I'm looking forward to the most is the first one against the Rams.
It's not even close. That's it. That's the game. And guess what? The Rams are better than they were last year.
Absolutely.
And they have Jonah Jackson on their side this time, where he was on our side. And they were 1 play away from beating the Lions last year in that playoff game. It didn't happen. Lions defense rolls up at the end. It's a great game, man. You couldn't get a more storybook opening to open this season. And if they win that game, look out, man. Look out. They're going to make a great run because the following week, come on in, Tampa Bay.
Your buddy Baker.
Come on in. Come on in.
You know, there's a line from the movie Major League, and I apologize for you kids out there that have not seen the movie Major League, but it's one of the greatest sports movies ever made.
Yes.
And I think it was made in 1989. And I invite each and every one of you to go watch that movie. Some great lines in society came from that movie. One of them is, you could tell a lot about how a season will go with what happened to the first batter, right? The first batter.
Willie Mays Hayes.
Willie Mays Hayes gets a hit. He gets a hit. Oh.
This is going to be crazy conspiracy, and I thought about this a lot because I watched that movie a couple weeks ago. So, I don't care about spoiler alerts. So,
right,
Willie Mays Hayes gets on base with a little oopsie daisy.
And that's Wesley Snipes.
And then he gets caught trying to steal second.
Picked off.
He gets picked off.
He gets,
does he get picked off?
Oh, he gets picked off.
Yeah,
He gets picked off.
The guy says, look at your shoelace.
Yeah.
He looks down, pick him off.
But if you go to the end of the movie, right, and he said their season's going to go a lot like it did at the beginning, what was the situation? Willie Mays Hayes at first. He does the fake bunt. He says he's going to bunt, and he scores from first when he takes off.
Oh, my God.
So really, there was symmetry in the first hit and the last hit of the season. It really I realized it like 2 weeks ago when I watched the movie.
It's a beautiful thought.
It really is. When Taylor, pointed at oh God, what a great movie.
Fantastic.
My nickname in Little League was Wild Thing, and I wore 99 because of that movie.
Ricky Vaughn, baby.
Yeah, Ricky Vaughn.
Long way for me to get to.
Sorry,
no,
but
it's totally fine. But a long way for me to get to. I think you're going to be able to tell a lot about how the 2024 season is going to go with the result of this first game against the LA Rams. I think if they beat the Rams, you're looking at 12, 13 wins. I think if they lose to the Rams, I think you're looking at 10 or 11 wins. And so that's a difference from competing for the number one overall seed or the number one seed in the NFC to winning your division and maybe getting a 3 or a 4 seed.
It definitely is momentum going forward. And I like to be reserved on these things because it is a long season. And just because you trip up week one doesn't mean you can't go on that winning streak. So I don't want to panic if they lose because we do know LA's a decent team. But if they win, I think everybody's going to be a little bit more high on hopium than we would have been had they taken a loss.
And I'm glad you're here today because I'll throw this out again. The Matthew Stafford tribute, which I believe will happen on week one. I do believe there'll be a video. I do believe they'll stand up and cheer him. I know you hate his guts.
I don't hate his guts.
I'm just saying, I know you want to hate him. And
I don't want to hate him.
Okay, I'm just saying, are you good with that if they do that?
I just don't see why. Like, if he retired and rode off into the sunset and he came back for, he's in the Ring of Honor, let's do it. But what has Matthew Stafford done in a Lions uniform to deserve a tribute?
He's had one of the great careers of any Detroit Lion.
Got us what?
Well, I mean,
you need other people to help too.
I don't want to hear that. I think
it's the truth. It's a team game.
Calvin Johnson, you get your tribute. Matthew Stafford, who chose to leave because you didn't want to endure a rebuild and then came back to the city. And then you come back to the city, your team loses, and you give zero credit to the city saying how nobody deserved it.
You know why that happened.
I don't care why it happened. It happened, Maz.
Because his wife told him.
I don't care why it happened.
His wife said they booed us and the girls. So that was in his head as he went to the podium.
Great.
I don't really care what happens, to be honest with you. I think they would do something with them.
It's an ex-girlfriend. It's an ex-girlfriend. That's what it is. Like, if your ex-girlfriend shows up at your new house, you're not going to just bust out the old photo album and go through it.
What did he ever do
for
the
Get rid of it. Get rid of it. It's your past. Get over it.
You asked the question, what did he ever do for the Lions?
Exactly.
He did enough where he's going to be in the Ring of Honor or the Lions Den or whatever whatever they call it. I think, there's only so many players in Lions history that have had their names etched in stone, for lack of a better way to say it. So he is part of. Now he never won a playoff game or anything like that,
or a division, or
again,
had winning record against winning teams, or like there's just so many things he didn't.
Beat the Browns.
He beat the Browns with a busted shoulder.
Barry
his rookie
Sanders.
year.
Barry Sanders
got a playoff win.
Want to play? Calvin Johnson did not.
Calvin Johnson did not, but Calvin Johnson also did not leave and go to another team. He retired.
He wanted to.
He wanted to.
They
he
wouldn't
didn't,
let him.
but he didn't.
They wouldn't allow him.
They would. Yeah.
Well, he didn't. I mean, the
Right.
facts are the facts. He's Calvin Johnson, whether you like it or not, is a lion, right? You can't associate him with any other team. When Matthew Stafford goes in the Hall of Fame, what do you think he's going to go as?
I don't know.
He's going to go as a Ram. He won a Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is what makes him a Hall of Famer. So he's going to go in as a Ram. He's going to have no association with the Lions. I think it's such a loser mentality.
He was our number one pick, and Goff was their number one pick.
Right. And
overall,
are they going to throw a parade for Goff when he returns? No. So why should we for Stafford?
Okay.
That's
that's your opinion.
I know, but that's my thinking. LA's not going to throw a banner ticker tape parade for Goff. Why the hell should we care for Stafford? Because he was the best of the worst?
I think they did something for him when they did go play at the Rams. I do think they did something for him that game. You can look back, and I'm sure they had a pregame tribute to Jared Goff. I'm sure they did. At least put a video up on the board.
Yeah,
look it up.
I don't know. Listen, Stafford's great. He was his time here at that time. He was the greatest quarterback to ever put on a Lions uniform.
Right.
I'm never knocking the guy's talent. His attitude and post-game press conferences, how aloof he was, how he wasn't a leader and got our team through playoff games, how he let little things rock him. He never could get it done in a Detroit uniform, whether you love him or not. That's the fact. Yeah. So I don't know why you reward a guy who couldn't get it done.
All right.
Because he was the best of what was bad? I don't know. You were better than
his numbers are still great as a line.
John Kitna's were amazing too.
I'll agree to disagree with you on that one.
Me too.
I'll agree to disagree with you on that one.
Sell me on it though, guys. Why would you?
Look at his numbers as a Lion.
Yeah, he's the greatest quarterback ever to play for the franchise. Numbers wise.
But what does that mean when your franchise didn't do anything? I mean,
they didn't do anything for 60 years, buddy.
Are they
They have not.
Right, and he was part of that 60.
He was the best.
He was 1/6 of that 60 years.
So you have to take. I think for me, you have to appreciate the slices of pie you did get, even though you didn't get the full cake over a 60+ year period. You have to enjoy as a fan, I think, and appreciate the slice of pie that you did get, because this franchise has had so many iterations of itself. They have had so much losing. They have had so much.
Right.
I mean, just
they've only had 2 slices of winning.
They're an upside.
That's it.
It's one of the worst run franchises in the history of sports
until 4 years ago,
and it wasn't up to the players to choose that.
And I think you're making a great point here, and this kind of leads into what my next point was going to be. He should get honored by SOL standards. He should not get honored by Dan Campbell Lions standards.
Well, this franchise is more than 4 years old.
I understand that, but what we're honoring him is for the past crappy Lions. What he accomplished then would not be acceptable now, correct?
If you put Matthew Stafford on this team, they would win the Super Bowl too.
Okay, but what he accomplished then would not be acceptable now, correct?
Well, it's a completely different organization. It's a completely different
I'm just
standard.
talking about accomplishments. This is history. This is what has been established.
If Matthew Stafford had Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes, the offensive line, the run game, and
I know. I've heard that about Stafford forever. But what I'm saying is,
I mean, do you think
if Jared Goff failed 3 times in the playoffs, would we be throwing him a parade like you guys want to do for Stafford?
I didn't say a parade.
Yeah, no.
Or a tribute.
Yeah.
I said a tribute video prior to the game.
Right.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Stafford, we can throw him a tribute for SOL because that's what he is. He was a good of the bad Lions.
Okay.
But he is not. He's not successful. He's not. He wasn't successful.
He is going to be in consideration
because he won a Super Bowl with a different team.
Even without it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm with this guy. I'm with Apollo. John Kitna tribute. He threw for over 5,000 yards in that Mike Martz offense.
Right.
He did. Did he not?
Okay.
1 year.
See, you guys, you want it both ways, Maz.
No.
You want it both ways.
No.
Matthew Stafford is the best SOL
I'm just saying,
quarterback of all
appreciate
time.
what he did for your team, and then really appreciate
What did he do for my team, though? That's what I'm asking.
He got traded, and he brought you Jared Goff and a bunch of draft picks.
Right. Because he wanted to be traded, because he didn't believe in Brad Holmes, he didn't believe in Dan Campbell, and he didn't want to stick around for another rebuild.
It was his fourth rebuild.
I get that. But guess what? Maz, that doesn't change the fact that he didn't want to sit through it. And he could have been here enjoying the fruits of the labor. Chanted Matthew
What would you have done if you got offered when he got off?
Because if they didn't get traded, the Lions would not have had the draft picks
Correct.
that they
Matthew
had in
Stafford,
order to get the players that they got.
Matthew Stafford had no problem signing contracts and collecting checks. He had no problem.
This is what happens when sticks.
He had no problem being the highest paid quarterback.
I literally look what I just took. See this? This is for migraine.
You act like we
I
didn't-
literally just took it about 15 minutes ago.
You guys act
because
like
I'm
we
already
didn't pay
already
Stafford.
done with Stick. I'm already done with him.
Did we pay Stafford almost $250 million?
You called for a break in the first hour. I'm going to call for a break now.
I will tap out on this argument too, because you got nothing. You got nothing. Just like Stafford and his playoff victories.
We'll go
0.
Let's go to Stick in Bloomfield Hills. Stick, you're on.
We'll be
Woodward
right
Sports.
back, gang. We'll be right back. Go around the NFL.
Love
First
you.
the message from Guardian Alarm.
Happens when you see that black and yellow sign out in front of your house. It tells the bad guys one thing.
Stay out.
It's a new year.
Stay
Let
out,
Guardian
Stafford.
Alarm offer you customized solutions from real people,
Stay out of the Hall
24/7
of Fame.
professional monitoring and technology backed by people. And that technology has been proven to work, and those people have been proven to care. So call 1-800.
Stay out.
That's 1-800.
Stay out.
Call them today. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
Stay out of a highlight video. You're not welcome here, Stafford.
We'll be right back.
Congratulations to the real coach of the year, Motor City Dan Campbell.
Just put your head down and go to work. It's about to be fun, man. It's about to be fun.
Woodward Sports.
What's up, everybody? Neil Rule, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, home of the Planet Fitness Studios. Let me tell you a little personal story about myself with Planet Fitness. Planet Fitness helped me change my life, and it can do the same for you. The best gym in the gym game. The clean facilities, tons of cardio equipment, tons of weights as well. And look, through all the price increases, inflation, all that, hasn't happened at Planet Fitness. Still $1 down, $10 per month, $24.99 a month for the Black Card as well. It's Planet Fitness, everybody, where your fitness is essential.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
Any Lady Jane's haircuts for men, and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's haircuts for men, it's wicked awesome.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media. And we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Braylon Edwards here, Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around. Who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda? A chef for Lola? Really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supply has everything that your pet can dream of, and guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out premierpetsupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets?
Nobody! A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Now more than ever, it's critical for you to have your insurance reviewed, and Swiss Insurance will make sure that your carrier is not slipping in extra fees. Call Mark at Swiss Insurance today, 313-530-1698, or visit SwissINS.com. And now back to Ermanni and Edwards with Maz.
Look at that. Braylon out today. He'll be back tomorrow. And, of course, stick in for Braylon. Tom Mazaway, let's go around the NFL. What's happening?
All right, let's do it, fellas. Let's start off with...
Oh, you're not going to read Burns' comment?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, Burns. Yeah.
Burns' comment.
Yes, do it.
Yes,
Super fan Burns.
Please.
Stafford and McVay cheated behind our backs in Mexico, and you guys want to celebrate them. Then he spat on us twice when we beat him. Yeah, that's Maz. Maz is a masochist. That's what he likes. He likes a guy to cheat on you and then spit on you, and now he's happy and wants to make a video. Right, Maz?
Oh, that's great, man. You and Byrne are going to make such a great couple.
How do you like this guy? How do you like Stafford? I don't get it. But
I just do. I do.
Man.
I love him.
He doesn't care about you.
I was happy for him that he won.
He
the
wasn't
Super Bowl.
happy for you.
It's all right.
He said it. He wasn't happy for the fans.
We're going to win our Super Bowl. Everything's going to be great. We're in a great spot because of Matthew Stafford.
Did you have a Detroit Rams shirt?
No, I did not.
Are you sure? You look like a Detroit Rams guy to me.
I did not. You would see it if I had
funny.
it. I might get one, though.
Yeah.
Only kidding.
If you have one, you better burn it.
Hey, Brian Baldinger is one of our favorite analysts. Baldy loves himself some Detroit Lions, and he especially loves what Jameson Williams is going to become this year.
Let's watch this man here. Jameson Williams, NFC Championship game. The game's not 90 seconds old. When Goff faked to Montgomery and flipped it right here to J-Mo. And he's got Ragnow out front and Decker. And then J-Mo went turbo. And there's Greenlaw trying to rip his terrible towel from him and his shirt and anything else. But nothing catches that speed. Like, just think about the impact he's going to have for full off season and next year with this offensive line. He scored the first touchdown of the game. He scored the last touchdown of the game. Watch the little shoulder fake here by Goff, pulling Greenlaw out of the picture and then floating it to J-Mo right behind him. The first and last touchdown of the NFC Championship game, Jameson Williams. That guy's going to explode this year in this offense.
That touchdown, by the way, happened right in front of me. I was standing on the field at that point in the game, and it was so cool to see. And it looked like, if you watch the replay, it looked like his knee got caught in the grass, and I was actually more concerned about that than anything else.
Yeah,
if you look at the way like the knee got caught and goes down.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh my! When I saw that live, I thought they were gonna have to cart him off. But it was a great catch. I think Jameson Williams. I agree with Baldy. With a full off season, no funny business, and just go out there and work. I think this kid can be great. Now we'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, Ben Johnson has shown us he's got a plan on how he's bringing each one of these guys along. And we saw it with Jahmyr Gibbs last year. Just feed him a little, feed him a little, feed him a little. Unfortunately, Montgomery got hurt, so he had to expedite that process. But then Gibbs was ready at that point. J-Mo, even though this is his third year on the roster, I don't think Ben Johnson really has known how to work him in. He knew he had him, 6 games into last season, so he didn't even conceptualize having him in the offense. Then you get him back 3 weeks early. It's like, that really wasn't a part of my plan. Then your offense is rolling. This offseason, I think Ben Johnson's sitting there in the lab, just like, oh my God, I got this guy. I'm drawing up this play.
And a lot of that too,
Stick.
A lot of that too, I would assume, is because of his familiarity with the playbook.
Yep.
He was such a young player coming into the NFL. He was an injured player, so he didn't get that. You can only learn so much looking at a tablet. You have to get out there and be able to run the routes, get the timing with the quarterback, work with the other receivers on the field. He didn't have that capability to do that the first year. Now, I think there's still plenty of questions. What kind of player is he going to be? Because this Amon-Ra is obviously the alpha. You could have 2 alphas. You could have a guy that is a very comfortable number 2. a very comfortable number 2, and there's nothing wrong with that at all.
Well, the way the NFL is now, like, there is no number 1, really, right? You have different styles of wide receiver. You have your possession wide receiver, you have your big play wide receiver, and Amon-Ra St. Brown and J-Mo complement each other perfectly, honestly. You have Amon-Ra, which is your underneath.
Amon-Ra's catching 12, 14 balls a game.
Right, but he's your underneath guy, and J-Mo's to take the top off the defense guys, right? So while these safeties are creeping down because Amon-Ra's catching 10 balls, then you just pop it over their head to J-Mo. Then the minute they back up, you're underneath them to Amon-Ra. So the way this team's set up, I love the complementary pieces that they have. It's the same thing in the backfield. You have Montgomery, who breaks, arguably, 3 or 4 tackles a game. His yards after contact are almost number 1 in the league. And then you have a Jahmyr Gibbs, who's your speed back, your lightning and thunder. And that's kind of what I see with Amon-Ra St. Brown and J-Mo.
Yeah, I mean, and also, 60 plays a game, right? 60, 65 plays a game?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Amon-Ra is going to get 10 balls thrown his way. You're going to get 20 attempts at the running back position. So there's half of your offense right there. You've got Laporta that's going to get 6 to 8 targets.
Brock Wright's going to come in. They paid him.
So maybe another 10 passes to the tight end position, including 6 to 8 to Laporta. So that's 40 plays right there.
Right. But that's if you're balancing it out every game.
Well, that's what they do.
There's going to be games when J-Mo's going to get 12 and Amon-Ra is going to get 6. And there's going to be games when Amon-Ra gets 15 and J-Mo's going to get 4.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and that's what I like about this. There's different ways to beat you now.
4 to 6 is, I would say, a max number of catches for Jameson Williams in this offense. And that's not going to wow you, but that might be 4 for 80 and a touchdown. That might be 6 for 150.
Well, and don't forget about his rushing touches, too. I mean, they got him the ball in the NFC Championship game a couple creative ways as well. So I think you're looking at 8 to 10 touches.
Right.
And if that results in 4 to 6.
8 to 10 touches per game for J-Mo?
Mm-hmm. I mean,
that's what you want, really.
Well, I think that's a little high.
Well, if you're looking at 4 to 6 catches,
what are you giving Jamar Chase and Jefferson?
20 to 25.
Okay, so he's not gonna get half of that?
Oh, Jamar. Wait, who are you talking about?
He was talking Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase, wide receiver.
Well, it's a completely different offense.
You thought you said Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah, I thought you meant Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. That's where I thought you were going.
I just think top wide receivers like Jamar Chase, like CeeDee Lamb, like Jefferson. I get that, but don't you want that to be?
You couldn't even tell me who Dallas's running back is right now.
Correct.
I mean, I'm just saying it's a much
right. It's
Ezekiel
an embarrassment
Elliott,
of riches, actually.
Right.
It truly is an embarrassment of riches on this offense.
It's a good problem to have, and you knew that when you drafted J-Mo at number 12 overall. This was kind of a bonus pick. It was somebody that you were adding to it, and now if we get to see even a little bit of what we saw in that NFC Championship game, I think everybody should be excited. And honestly, if we don't see any of that, but he's still causing you to adjust your defense and game plan and opening up other players as a decoy, he's still valuable in this offense. So any way you slice it, this year's going to be a lot of fun on offense for the Detroit Lions.
Hell yeah. Now, you guys don't wear jerseys as much. I wear them still.
You're not a jersey guy?
Never been a jersey guy.
Yeah, me neither.
So last week at OTAs, some of the Lion players were asked, what was the first jersey you guys rocked?
First jersey I ever owned, Kobe Bryant, big 2-4, not the little one. Nah, really it was 8 at first, but yeah.
King James. Brian probably still the only jersey I got.
Brian James, 2003 rookie jersey. Yeah.
Eddie Thomas. First jersey I ever had, I get 2 of them. Got for Christmas. I got the black Carson Palmer Bengals jersey, and then my second one was the baby blue, powder blue LT.
Thought when that thing was a deal. My first jersey was my jersey, 4 years old.
I think it was Tracy McGrady. Magic.
Pierre Garçon.
First one that comes to my mind is LT.
Russell Westbrook, OKC.
Kobe Bean Bryant.
Michael Vick, number 7.
2-4. You already know Kobe, the black one. her Patriots jersey.
I think it was a basketball jersey. And I think it was Kobe's, which is crazy.
Oh, my Little League jersey, Hilltop Hawks. Best.
That is so funny.
It is.
Interesting how many basketball jerseys, right? You'd expect all these football guys to have football jerseys first, but a lot of them, LeBron, Kobe.
The black one.
Yeah.
You know?
My first was Joe Namath, and then I got had a couple of years off there and got a Phil Simms. When Phil Simms was drafted to the Giants, I ran right out that same day and spent all my money, my hard-earned money on a Phil Simms jersey.
I don't remember my first jersey because I used to wear them a lot as a kid. I know I had like the replica. I can remember my first authentic jersey though, and that was a Frank Thomas.
Oh wow,
authentic jersey.
Big hurt.
Yeah.
The first jersey I ever had was a Chet Lemon jersey.
Ooh, it's quality.
Mm-hmm.
Random and quality.
I loved Chet Lemon growing up.
Yeah.
Loved Chet Lemon. He would always run and dive to that ball, and he would make these circus catches out there in center field for the Detroit Tigers. Lemon 34.
How about you, Pete? Do you have one besides Anthony Carter's Michigan Panthers jersey?
Yeah, my first jersey was Joe Dumars.
All right.
Yeah, Joe Dumars.
I got a Dumars McNeese State jersey.
Joe,
I
how about
was
you?
into jerseys like in my 20s.
Yeah.
When I was like 22, 23, 24, I was a jersey guy.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Joel went for Carmelo's Nuggets jersey.
Really?
There you go.
Yes.
That's a classic. Classic.
Hey, speaking of wide receivers, as we talked before, Justin Jefferson. Did you know, the rumor on the street was that the Vikings were not trying to trade up for JJ. They were trying to trade up to get Malik Neighbors, the wide receiver the Giants took from LSU. Had they gotten him, they would have traded Justin Jefferson, who is holding out right now for big numbers.
Yeah, Justin Jefferson is not at OTAs with Minnesota. He wants a contract. I don't blame him. Look, Justin Jefferson looks at the contracts that are being levied, thrown around. Amon-Ra, St. Brown, names escaping me right now. Who got more than him? Wide receiver that got more than Amon-Ra.
I don't think anybody's been paid more than Amon-Ra yet.
Yeah, it was the next day.
Was it?
Yeah, you're right.
Wasn't A.J. Brown, was it?
Yes.
Was it A.J.
Yes.
Brown?
A.J. Brown, Eagles.
Yeah. Yeah, Amon-Ra was the highest paid wide receiver for like a day and a half.
But
Yeah.
that goes back to the brilliance of Brad Holmes, right? He put pressure on a rival GM.
He set the market.
By signing Amon-Ra St. Brown before anybody else got to the plate. And now he did the same exact thing with Jared Goff, too. That Jared Goff contract, which made him the highest paid quarterback for all of 5 minutes, by the time the season starts, he's going to be like 7 or 8 on the list.
And again, are you really do you have to, let's say this, do you have to pay a wide receiver $35 million? I mean, I think if there's one team that can do it, it's Minnesota because they've got a rookie quarterback now. So you can pay that guy $35 million. But maybe they don't want to pay him. You know, we always talk about guys that
Remember, they let Diggs go.
But you
to
always
get Jefferson. So they were going to do the same with Neighbors.
Well, and they have Addison.
Different
It's
regime,
not like
though,
Addison
too.
sucks. He's good.
Different regime, but nonetheless, you know a guy, right? I mean, one of the things the Lions will tell you is they want to draft, get to know their players, have them perform, and then they'll pay them.
Yeah, Maz hates that.
But maybe they don't like Justin Jefferson. Maybe they've gotten to know him. Maybe they don't like him.
Listen.
Maybe they don't want to pay him $35 million. I don't know.
Culture is a big thing, and we've seen it with the
Yeah.
turnaround of the Detroit Lions. And if you don't fit into a specific locker room, if you're kind of the one-off guy or you're the diva, it disrupts the whole herd.
And I'm not saying he is or he isn't. I just don't know that answer. But it appears that the Minnesota Vikings have not paid Justin Jefferson. If you go by the play on the field and you look at kind of their team, especially with a rookie quarterback, it feels like you could pay him if you wanted to
They're
pay
paying
him.
Hawk, don't forget.
What?
Yeah, they took on that Hawkinson contract.
Why haven't you paid him yet? I mean, one is only left to speculate.
Well, while you were talking, I look back the past 5 Super Bowl champions, right? You got Kansas City, LA Rams, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Patriots, Eagles, Patriots, Broncos. out of all those teams, the only ones to have like great wide receivers, probably the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That was Mike Evans and Godwin, right? And that they didn't get great until Brady showed up.
Sure.
So the wide receiver isn't necessarily a main piece to the ingredient of a Super Bowl championship team.
I couldn't agree with you more.
And if that's the focal point and that's your entire offense, I think you're in a little bit of trouble.
Right. I mean, I totally agree with that.
Hey, let's talk a little ticket prices.
Uh-oh.
The Lions are on this list, guys. There are 2 lists. Ticket prices that are going way up and ticket prices that are coming down. Let's start with the prices that are going up. These are the teams that have raised their ticket prices in the NFL, and look how much they did it.
Houston sees a 99% increase, nearly double the ticket prices. Detroit, I don't know where these numbers are coming from, but the Detroit Lions
it's the average
68% increase. Average ticket price $192, $223. Baltimore Ravens a 33% increase. Look, you
that's
win.
That's a big jump, man.
Listen, if you win, the cost to get in also goes up.
And
I mean,
let's be honest, the Lions have been stagnant the past couple of years too. They didn't raise ticket prices, I believe, the past 2 years, knowing that the products suck
a little bit.
And it's kind of, but yeah, I mean, you guys want winning football. We got to pay for winning football.
It is the place to be in the fall now.
If you want to go to get some cheap season tickets, let's put up these teams now because they have lowered their price of getting into a game.
The New England Patriots from $416 to $226. So but look, wait a minute. Okay, San Diego, or the Chargers, I should say, $217 to $162. In Jacksonville, $254 to $196. Okay, so the New England Patriots, you can get it. The average ticket for the New England Patriots costs $226. Go back to that other graphic.
Did you see in the chat, Anthony
the average
Patterson?
ticket, $320. I thought it was 200.
Yeah.
Okay, 300.
You see, Anthony Patterson just bought Monday night tickets to Seattle, $3,600 for 4 tickets. $3,600
Yeah, the
for 4
secondary
tickets.
market is insane. And maybe if you're Anthony Patterson,
can I get a loan?
Well,
Anthony, are you sitting at the 50 on the first row?
Gotta be. I mean, you're talking about what?
$1,200
$800 a seat?
$1,200 a ticket.
Yeah, 12.
He's got to be getting food and drink and all of that kind of jazz.
Yeah, you're right.
Pre-game, he's probably on the field.
$900 a
pre-game.
ticket.
Yeah,
that's a lot of
$900 a ticket.
Come on, man.
Ticket. $900 a ticket.
$900 a ticket.
And maybe, you know what? Maybe if they're unbeaten, maybe you put those tickets back online and you make the profit, right? I mean, who knows?
The people I am excited for are buddies like my buddy Jeremy Burns, who has had Lions season tickets for over a decade and endured and endured and endured and endured. And now finally they raised the prices on him. But now Thanksgiving Day, he can go cash in, right? Like those people who paid for these season tickets while the Lions were awful for all these years, I'm not mad at them for selling their tickets on the secondary market. Y'all earned it.
Yeah, no, there's no question about it. And it's not so much even the cost of the ticket. And again, you could probably get the $5 seat to the Tigers game tonight if you wanted to go. Maz, you go into the Tigers game tonight.
Yeah,
but it's not about the cost of the ticket. I mean, this is expensive. But if you even get a free ticket to a Red Wings game, Pistons game, Tigers game, you're still going to pay $100 to park, to eat, to drink. It's still going to cost you $100 a person, essentially. $100 a person.
But at least you're getting into the stadium for a reasonable price.
Still a lot of money.
Right. There's 80 home games versus 8.
Yeah.
For the Lions.
Still a lot
9
of
this
money.
year, actually.
Still a
They
lot
got
of
9. Next year, they'll have 8 and probably be in Europe somewhere, probably in Germany. How about Justin Fields against, who's he going against here?
Russell Wilson.
Who do you think will be the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Russ.
Well, Justin Fields was brought here to Pittsburgh for a 6th-round pick.
To return kicks.
It could turn into a 4th-round pick if he plays a certain number of games. He says he's not taking the backup job. He's there to earn a spot to start.
I'm definitely, competing. I think,
Russ knows that. We're competing against each other every day. Him being out there for me, helps me getting better, us pushing each other. So, I mean, I definitely don't have the mindset of me just sitting all year. So, I'm coming in every day, giving it all I got, and pushing him to be his best, and he's pushing me to be my best each and every day. So, appreciate that.
So Justin Fields says he's going to fight it out with Big Russ.
I think Russell Wilson starts, and I think you can go to Justin Fields if it doesn't work out.
Or use them both.
What's he supposed to say, honestly? Like, I came here to be the backup?
Right.
No, you're supposed to have that competitive spirit, which is nice. Good to see he's in good spirits, but they didn't bring in Russ to start you. They didn't give up a 6th-round pick for you to start. Honestly, he's going to be returning
I like Justin
punts.
Fields. I do. And
horrible quarterback.
I think he can be a good player.
I agree.
I don't understand. I don't understand. In a lot of these plays, there has been. Do you know who is the all-time leading touchdown? I think he leads the Chicago Bears franchise in touchdown passes.
Oh yeah.
Is it still McMahon?
It's Eric Kramer.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, this is Justin Fields went to a place where quarterbacks go to die.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can get some coach to tailor an offense to what you do well, I just think you got to give the guy a fighting chance. I like Justin Fields. I hope he does well.
Now that he's not a Bear, I hate him a little less.
Yeah.
But he still, went to Ohio State. He was a Chicago Bear, so I'm never rooting for this guy. And he is what I thought he was. He's one of the best running quarterbacks in the NFL. Right. But when it comes to the arm game, it's just not there, and you can't be a one-dimensional quarterback if that one dimension is running.
In the final minutes of the show, hockey game tonight.
Woohoo!
First of all, what a hockey game last night. Edmonton gets up quickly 2-0 and then gets outscored 5-1 the rest of the way and loses to Dallas. I really want Edmonton to go to the Stanley Cup final.
Why?
I am like,
why?
Because we love the manager.
Oh, okay.
We love Kenny Holland.
Oilers, Kenny Holland, who joined us last week.
Okay. I'm just wondering why.
Absolutely.
I want the Stanley Cup to stay out of Canada.
Why? It's been since '93.
Exactly. So why start now?
Right. Well,
come on. It's a fun streak.
I think it'd be great to see the New York Rangers and the Edmonton Oilers in
Wayne
the Stanley
Gretzky's
Cup final.
teams.
Mark Messier's teams.
That's right.
How
about that?
So I'd love to see that. I don't know. Florida, it's not like I'm some expert on Florida Panther hockey.
They're good.
They're a big favorite.
Man.
They're a big favorite tonight against the Rangers.
They're good. They'll win tonight.
The Rangers will win tonight? No. Florida
Panthers will win tonight.
So
Panthers will win tonight at home, defend home ice, and then goes back to New York. Best of 3, make it. At least make the NHL playoffs something for us that the NBA playoffs are certainly turning into something bad. At least give us something to look for. And you got the Tigers and the Pirates tonight. Tarek Skubal on the hill. Should be a fun night. It's gorgeous outside. If you want to go to Comerica. You should take Lukey down to Comerica today.
Actually, I've got skating tonight with Lydia.
Skating.
We've got
Skating
figure
with
skating
Lydia.
tonight.
Nice.
And that's what I go to immediately after this. So we've got figure skating tonight.
Okay.
Big league stuff.
Have a good night.
We got figure skating tonight and the Tin Caps tomorrow. Big game. 9-0, the Tin Caps.
Ooh.
Lukey's still looking to get on the board.
Still looking to get on the board.
That's
buddy.
a great name, the Tin Caps.
Still looking to get on the board. Stick, thanks, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Maz. Sorry about your migraine.
That's okay, man.
Sorry about your opinions, but that's okay.
I appreciate
love
you, man.
I love you.
That's quite all right, man. Hey, first time, long time, man. Congrats on calling in.
Pete, Mike,
Thanks, guys.
Joel, good stuff, guys. We'll see you tomorrow on Woodward Sports
See you,
Network.
guys.
Heavyweights tonight.